Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dreams of owning a home or investing in one. Well, I wanted to address a question that I heard in another video a while back. The question was, there's a lot of celebrities who say they love their city, they rep their city. However, their city is burnt out, bummy, messy. There's a large homeless population. Why aren't they doing anything to fix their city? Well, let me tell you, there are celebrities who do give back to their city. I'm going to use the city of Detroit as an example, okay? One of the reasons why is because I have family there. Well, I used to have family there. They moved. And I visited there. The last time I was there was actually 2014. And I actually was thinking about investing in that particular city. Me and several other Black women, we were going to meet up with the Shay Show because one of his subscribers was saying, we as Black people, why do we have to wait for white people to fix a city up? Why can't we take this city and turn it over and make it great? So we were on board with that, but by the time we got there, they canceled that meeting. So it's all good. Shay gave me my money back. And what I did was I set up appointments to meet with other Black real estate developers and investors in that city anyway. So things worked out. In doing so, what I learned was many of the celebrities did give back to Detroit, because I was saying to myself, darn, Detroit gave us Motown. How is it that there were so many places that were burnt out and looking like this, looking the way it did? Now, when we went there in 2014, we could see that it was becoming a different city. We could see the rise in Detroit. But Detroit is like a block by block situation, meaning one block will look real nice. You turn the corner and the next block don't look so nice. So that's what I mean by block, like literally back then. I haven't been there again since 2014, so things may have changed. I know that downtown is beautiful from what I understand, and it was looking nice. It was like, 80 or 90% filled up when we had went there. They had built up that waterfront and everything. But yes, getting back to the story at hand. So what the investors told us was that a lot of entertainers have given back. A lot of entertainers did pour money into the city. However, because the government was so corrupt, they were taking money and putting it into their pockets instead of taking the money and building businesses and building properties. And that was the gist of it. That was the problem. And then here's another thing too. A lot of these celebrities don't necessarily broadcast it all over social media or on the TV, newspapers, or whatever, and say, hey, I gave all this money to these people. They don't do stuff like that. That's not how they roll. They just get in where they fit in, pretty much. And a lot of times too, many of the ones that have money who do give back, many of them don't necessarily know real estate. Just because they own a house That doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to invest. Learning how to invest involves you picking up some books, involves you taking some courses, involves you networking, joining, let's say, a real estate investors club every now and then, going to real estate conferences. These type of things help educate you in order to become a better real estate investor. You don't do that with just, oh, I have a house and that's it. No, especially if you don't live in that city anymore. Because, see, that's another thing. A lot of people originally from Detroit, they didn't necessarily stay there. Aretha, yes. But Diana Ross, I don't think so. Berry Gordy, no. Even the mansion that he had, he sold that to someone else. And he lives in LA. I'm not sure if he has an apartment in New York, but I wouldn't be shocked because Diana Ross has her apartment in New York, and so does, I know one of her daughters does too. So yeah, that's the other thing is when you move away, and let's say all of your friends and family also move away, then who do you know to help you? Because you can have the knowledge, but then you have to hire people that you can trust. Let me give you an example. So I was part of New York Real Estate Investors Association, and I wasn't in this particular group, but the head of our association, she formed a group of women that also wanted to go to Detroit and buy property, because at that time it was very reasonable. So they went, they met with a number of people, they came back, they were sent emails of different properties. So there was one particular property that they were interested in buying. Well, lo and behold, one of them flew back to Detroit to look at that property firsthand before closing. And guess what? That building was not there anymore. It turns out that picture was taken in like 1975, right? And they were trying, and they re-imaged the picture to make it look like it was more up to date when it wasn't. So when they got there, there was no building. It was just land. These are the type of things that happen when you invest out of state. Okay? So that's why you can't, you got to be careful in making judgments as far as, who gives back and who doesn't give back. Because you don't know. Do all celebrities give back? No, they don't. But there is a good number of them that do, but the ones that do don't always don't always blast it. Like, for example, Eminem, he's one of the famous rappers that has invested in his city. Okay, then you also have Kid Rock, who has been involved in a number of charitable work in the city, right? Now, Smokey Robinson, I know has give back. Then you also have, I can't remember the basketball players. Oh, Magic Johnson. He's also offered to help at one time. But again, a lot of times what holds everybody back too, besides realtors that want to rip you off, besides contractors who will come in one day and then disappear the next, is the government. The government will sometimes take the money and pocket the money. See, when you're doing development, normally you got to go through the government. You normally have to get some type of approval. And I'm not necessarily talking about like mayors and I'm talking about other, sometimes the lower city officials, sometimes even the inspectors will give you a hard time trying to squeeze extra money out of you because they can and because they want to. And that turns people away and stops people from wanting to invest. Now, the other thing too is, you got to also think about what kind of strategy can you apply. Like I would say, like with Detroit right now, you could do a flip and you could do a rehab and you could get your money back. You don't have to buy and hold if you don't want to. But if you did buy and hold, you could make good money as well. But I would say maybe before 2014, going back a little bit further, flipping might not have been the best thing to do in that market at that particular time. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Let me tell you about my uncle. My uncle found a house in Detroit for $8,000 back in, I think it was 2008, 2009. That's when Obama was in office. And Obama was giving out incentives. I believe it was like $3,000 incentives for people to buy a home because the economy at that time had tanked. We went into a recession and he was trying to revitalize it. So my uncle went out there and he purchased that home. He got the Obama incentive because the Obama did not have a limit as far as how much the house had to cost, what the price had to be. So he did that. And guess what? It did appreciate. And he didn't do nothing to that house. He didn't put a hammer, nail, nothing. And the house went up in value. It went to $13,000 the next year. And then in 2014, it was actually worth $31,000 without him doing anything. So you see, timing matters. Buying and hold, that strategy, to be honest with you, in no matter what niche you use in real estate, it normally works. Very few people fail using the buy and hold strategy. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at these different markets that are out there. You don't want to hesitate too much and too long. There are some markets where, yeah, you can take a year, 6 months, whatever. But there are some markets where, you got to jump on things and you got to jump on it right away. Not only in buying the property, but whatever grants are being offered, get to it. Get those, But yes, don't think that just because a city is not doing well financially, that it's that the celebrity is a hypocrite. No, get that out of your mind. Sometimes they're doing what they can do. It's just that the way the city is run, it's just so crooked. And sometimes all the money that they put in was taken away from them. Because again, scamming is not new. Scamming has been going on for a long time. And it seems as though when you learn from one scam, another scam comes up. They come up with something different. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And since you yourself may not have celebrity money, because many of us don't, right? Make sure you're in a city where the jobs, that has to be like one of the most important things, is how many jobs are there, and even the skilled labor, the population also is important as well, because Detroit's population was dwindling, and it still is to a certain degree. But what encouraged it is a man named Dan Gilbert, and he's the founder of Quicken Loans. He's also the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And what he was doing back in 2014 was he was hiring people and he was paying them to move back to Detroit. And that's how Detroit's population began to increase just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And then I have to mention this other person, even though I don't know how to say his last name so good, Mike Litch. He was the founder of Little Caesars Pizza, the owner of the Detroit Red Wings and Detroit Tigers. He was the one that was responsible for building the entertainment district near downtown Detroit, which I've also been to. They have the casinos and everything else like that. As a matter of fact, in that area, if you wanted to like get a tax lien, it's not too far from the casino. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to share with you guys. So many people think that, government corruption has nothing to do with real estate investment. No, it does. It does. Should it stop you? No, it should not stop you. But you're going to have to think long and hard as far as what kind of play you're going to use there, and what is your exit strategy going to be in case the play that you, or the plan that you originally had, did not work. All right. So guys, feel free to pass this amongst your friends. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.